for life.
With that, we'll call order the August 6th, 2026 meeting of the Upper McCown Township Board of Supervisors. As normal process, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started today, just to take a moment, general moment of grace and gratitude, making sure that we remember those who've come before us, making sure we acknowledge and realize that every day we stand on the shoulders of those who fought and who braved and sacrificed to get us to where we are, regardless of our station in life. And a few moments just to be thankful that we're here tonight together as a community, looking forward. So just a moment for that, please. All right, thank you. We can keep running through just a couple of reminders. If everyone will look up, this green light that's in the middle of our room here is actually the ambient microphone tonight for our stream. It is extraordinarily sensitive. So as we try to keep through the business of the meeting tonight, please try to keep even the softest of dull roar down so that the folks on the stream thousands and the millions at home can hear uninterrupted, because it's going to be valuable information, all of it, including that there are no additions or deletions to the agenda tonight. So we're on item number 3, minutes and financials. I'm going to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the meeting minutes from July 2nd, 2026 general business meeting, as well as the July 21st, 2026 special Board of Supervisors meeting, and adopt them as presented. Authorize payment of the bills for the month of July in the amount of $5,558,216.42. Is there a second for that?
Since there's nobody else but me, I'll make the second.
Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, the whole meeting stops. Been a motion and a second. Any conversation on that?
No.
Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion as read, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. Thank you, Sonny. As we enjoy what hopefully will be the last meeting of 2. We are to item 4, presentations, the 2025 audit report, which is I know why everyone came tonight. Michelle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, every year we have our financials reviewed by our auditors, Buckner Lasicki. Tonight we have Chris Bentley here to present the 2025 audit report.
That's why everybody's here, right?
Absolutely. Just for you.
Get the boring stuff out of the way right away. Can I move this up, or can everyone hear me? There you go. All right. Well, thank you for having me. Good evening, everybody. Another year in the books, another audit completed. I'll turn to page 1, which is our independent auditor's report, if everybody has the report in front of them. I'm not going to go through this entire next 3 pages. The important piece from this independent auditor's report is just that in the second paragraph, you can see, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. That's the main sentence to take away from the independent auditor's report. That basically means it's an unmodified report or a clean report, audit report. That means the financial statements that were provided to us are accurate. Right? And there's no other changes. This is the same opinion that you guys have gotten in the past. So then let's go kind of more of the fun stuff. I'll kind of start from the back and kind of move forward on some of the financial information and highlights. If you turn to page 24, these are your fiduciary funds. They're kind of your custodial funds or agency funds. You guys have your non-uniform pension trust fund and your escrow fund that are kind of those custodial funds. And you can see on page 4, we had total additions from your pension trust fund of $2.3 million. We had benefits paid of about $540,000. So a net change in position of $1.3 1.8 million in your non-uniform pension trust fund. Right? Now, you guys have a pension liability of around 12.24 million in your non-uniform pension, right? Your net pension amount, your fiduciary amount is 12.2. So let's do the math. There's about 34,000 in net. That's the difference between what you owe and what you have on hand. It's about $34,000. So almost break even, which is pretty incredible. All right. Last year, that amount was about 1.4 million. Right now, so now we're down to 32,000 in that net number for your pension, non-uniform pension trust fund. Right. Turn to page 23. This is just your balance sheet of your fiduciary funds. You can see you have 12.2 million restricted for future pension payments and about 3.1 million in your escrow money that's basically due back, that will hold due back to developers. Right. If you turn to page 20, these are your enterprise funds, your business type funds. This is your sewer and refuse fund. This is, again, your profit and loss statement. As you can see, in your refuse fund, you have about 3 million in your refuse fund. Last year, that was about $2.7 million, so an increase of about $300,000. That's contributed to the increase, the $25 increase we had in the fees. Right. You can see we had an operating income loss in your refuse fund was about negative $5,000. So we're almost self-sustaining, pretty much break even in your refuse fund. When you add in your investment revenue, this year we got a $200,000 capital grant in your refuse fund. And then you add in kind of the transfers back to our general fund. We had a change in that position of $170,000 in your refuse fund. All right. Last year, that was about negative $130,000. Big pieces last year, we didn't have that $200,000 grant that we got this year. So you factor in, we're pretty close to how we performed last year in a refuse fund. Sewer fund, you look at operating income loss of about $547,000. Right? Last year, that number was about $586,000. So pretty similar operations from the prior year, 2024. Again, when you add in your investment revenue, so those one-time tapping fees, transfers, reimbursements back to the general fund, we had a change in that position of 1.8 million in your sewer fund. If you turn to the page before that, this is kind of your balance sheet. On the very bottom, it has kind of a breakout of what your fund balance in those two funds. Of your sewer fund, your 47 million in your sewer fund, 16 million of that is your fixed assets, and 30 million of that is unrestricted. You look at your refuse funds, your 3.2 million in your refuse fund, 1 million of that is in your fixed assets, your capital assets, and about 2.2 million is unrestricted. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, I'll go over kind of on page 16 is what's called your governmental funds. All right. You have your general fund, your capital equipment fund, your recreation capital funds, your traffic improvement funds, and then you have this last category. Now, those funds are your major funds, so those are the bigger funds, right? In the last column, you'll see there's non-major governmental funds. So those are kind of your smaller funds that we combine together. That's your stormwater maintenance fund, your open space preservation funds, your fire alarm funds, and your highway funds. All right, those are the smaller funds, so they get kind of wrapped into just one column on these financials, right? And you can see your non-major funds, we had change in that position, positive $136,000 to a total fund balance in those funds, those four funds, of 2.4 million. Right? Those are all restricted funds. All right, we have to use them for a specific purpose. I will say in those funds, the stormwater maintenance fund, there's a deficit about $13,000. I think I've made recommendations to Michelle to close that fund if we can. And then also the fire alarm fund has a deficit of about $780,000 in that fund. Right. If you look over to the left, the traffic improvement fund had a loss of $23,000 for a total fund balance of $530,000. Again, that's kind of a restricted funds. If you move over, you have your recreation capital fund. And as you can see, we had a net change in fund balance or a loss of negative $28.6 million. Obviously, all those expenses are capital expenses for where we're at in this building right now. You can see above there, we had about $29.4 million in capital expenses for the community center. Right. Move over, the capital equipment funds had a net change in fund balance of about negative $3.8 million. Right. And then if you look over to the general funds, your general operations of the township, you can see we had a net change, an increase of $26.3 million, right? Obviously, you can see a bulk of that is the $25 million in bond proceeds that we got for this community center. And then the bond premium, about $1.7 million, right? So you take those two things out, the general fund had about a $350,000 loss in the general fund, right? We basically need to move those bond proceeds and premium over to the recreation capital funds to cover the deficit in the recreation capital funds. And then we have a net loss of about $3.8 million in your capital funds. So that means we didn't send enough money over from our general fund to our capital equipment funds. All right. So all in all, if you look at that number all the way to the right there, net change in fund balance, if you kind of combine these funds together, right, we had a net loss of about $5.9 million in our governmental funds. All right. If you turn to page 14, this is basically your balance sheet of those governmental funds. And you can see at the bottom there under fund balances, you can see in the general funds, of the $74 million in our general funds, $26.3 million is kind of restricted due to the recreation capital funds, right, to cover those costs. And then $48.3 million, you have an unrestricted or unassigned free fund balance in your general funds. All right. And then you can obviously see the deficit in the capital equipment fund. We need to move some money over there next year to cover the deficit there. All right. And then lastly, just want to point out on page 12, this is your governmental activity. So basically what it does is it combines all of your governmental funds together and then adds your fixed assets, your long-term assets, and then your long-term liabilities. So it adds your fixed assets and your long-term debt, and then your pension, liabilities on here. You can see in the long-term liabilities in the kind of the middle of the page there, we now have debt bonds payable of $26.7 million. Just want to point out, because you guys have this the first year we're having debt on our books. So that's where it is now in those long-term liabilities. All right. And if you look at the very bottom there, what makes up kind of your net position, your long-term net position, you have $54 million invested in capital assets. $29 million is restricted. So a piece of that is obviously the bond proceeds that are going to be used for the recreation community center. And then you have $12.3 million unrestricted funds, right? When you look at your long term, when you add all your pension liabilities and your debt and your fixed assets. All right, so that's all I have on the financials. Just last thing before I have if anybody has any questions. Last is this governance letter. Did they receive a copy of the governance letter? So this is just required communication that we need to have with the board. And in this letter, it just says if we had any difficulties in performing the audit, any disagreements with management, any of those issues that we had during the audit. I'm happy to say you can see in this letter that we had none of those issues in dealing with the audit. I think last year we had some issues just because we had a new accounting system. If you remember, last year it was a big undertaking and getting reports. This year, we had none of those issues. Second year, new year with the new accounting system, everything went pretty smoothly this year as far as the accounting system. All right. And if you remember last year, we did have 2 management findings that I went over last year. A lot had to do with the new accounting system and getting used to it. I'm happy to say this year, because you guys don't have anything, we did not have those management findings in this year's audit. So they have been corrected in this year's audit. All right. So that's a good thing. All right. So I want to thank Michelle and Wayne and the rest of the team. It was a pretty smooth audit this year, way smoother than the year before. So I want to thank you for their cooperation. Everything you asked for that we got, anything we asked for as far as support. The audit's a very long process. I mean, it's a month and a half of us just asking for this. Let me see this. Let me see that. So I appreciate all your cooperation with that to make it go smoothly as possible. So, with that, does anybody has any questions? I know that was a lot. Yeah.
So just summary from me. 2025 staff did an excellent job with management of all township finances and issues. All the information that you needed, you had. There was never a dispute with staff about what information was out there.
Nope.
And your findings are that the management of our finances is in good shape.
Good shape. Correct.
That's all I
Pretty
have.
good summary.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing that I just worth noting, I guess you didn't mention the net change in balance fund of 5.9 million, but most of that is related to the community center.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's what we saw, which we didn't, it's a big number, but it's expected, and
Yep.
we knew what we were doing
Yep.
when we did that. All right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone from the audience have some auditing questions? I know it's exciting.
Thank God.
I was hoping we'd
Boy,
get
some
some
more,
fun
yeah.
for Chris, thank you. Chris, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Everyone. Yep, thank
Thank you,
you.
Chris.
it. We can keep going. The discussions and updates. It does not appear that we have any tonight, so we're on to.
Jack? We need a motion.
So, okay, I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 audit report as presented by Bucko Lasaki.
I'll second that. I would have expected that to be in the motion section. My apology, Jazz.
All right, yeah.
Any public comment or board comment on the motion to approve the audit report? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the 2025 audit report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. Thank you, Jazz.
Well, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your team and all you do every day to get us to a point where we had such a nice, clean letter this year. Good job.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll thank Wayne too. He's here. So now we're on to ordinances. Ordinance 2026-06, the truck parking ordinance update. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was actually brought to the board's attention by one of the township residents regarding larger commercial trucks parked in residential streets. Police chief, police department, Meredith and Andrew got together and drafted something that we feel is workable and enforceable. It's here for your consideration, and they're here to answer questions.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-06, amending Chapter 15, Part 3, Section 302 of the Township of Upper Macungie Code of Ordinances, regulating and establishing parking rules on public streets by establishing prohibitions against the parking of commercial motor vehicles, trucks, trailers, semi-trailers, or a combination of vehicles longer than 20 feet, including the length of the trailer.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Sonny. I don't know how you want to do this. Andrew, you want to walk us through this, or?
Yeah, and as Bob had said, the body of this really came from HRG and from the police department. But essentially what this is doing is it's restricting the parking of commercial vehicles on residential streets. The prohibition is that no commercial motor vehicle or combination of vehicles over 20 feet in length and or having a gross vehicle weight in excess of 26,000 pounds, including but not limited to tractor trailer trucks, trailers, semi-trailers, or a combination thereof shall not be parked in any residential street within the township. Residential street is defined as any street, alley, roadway, highway, berm, shoulder, public right-of-way that abuts any residential or mixed-use district as defined in the Upper McConkey Township zoning ordinance. There are some exceptions to this, such as motor vehicles, delivery trucks, moving trucks, but they can't be parked there overnight. Landscaping, trucks or trailers actively engaged in providing services, residential loading or unloading, and things along those sorts. So it's really meant to restrict the parking of commercial vehicles along public streets with those exceptions.
Okay, so I think that right now, that in the past, we've had certain streets with no parking, with some restrictions. So this would be basically cover all residential streets.
All residential streets, yeah. The no parking, some of it's restricted to vehicle parking, some of it is restricted to truck parking, but generally, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe most of that's, the no parking signs relates to parking of any vehicles. This prohibits the parking of commercial vehicles along all residential streets.
Yeah, no, I know there was, years ago, there was neighborhoods that were complaining that trucks were parking overnight. And I thought we had some streets that were
There-
restricted.
there-
So that's that, you know what I'm talking about?
Right, there were some streets, in I believe like the Schaefer Run Coldwater
Exactly,
Crossing
yeah.
area, along the collector roadway. And this would prohibit parking in and along.
This is an
Streets,
addition,
is
yeah,
that-
so this is gonna basically expand it to the rest of the township in some
Correct,
ways.
yes.
Okay, all right. That sounds great. I know I've heard ongoing concerns and complaints, so this is well received. That's good.
Can I ask a question about the definition of residential or mixed-use district as defined in the zoning ordinance?
Sure.
Agricultural district, is that a mixed-use or residential district or both?
I think that's an agricultural district.
So we don't have, there's no limitation on parking, truck parking in that district?
Again, I would believe that most of those residential, the agricultural districts that are not with houses constructed in and along them would probably not be sufficient. They're generally rural back roads
Okay.
that hopefully would not be subject to tractor trailers or commercial vehicles wandering back in that area and parking there.
So mixed use under the current definition, because I know the new zoning ordinance is going to have some things that are specifically labeled as mixed use, but under the current, it's neighborhood commercial, that sort of idea as a mixed use.
That's yes.
The highway commercial, trying to remember what the zoning designations on the map are.
No,
right now.
because highway commercial is typically not a residential, but there can be residential within the neighborhood commercial districts, yes.
It doesn't make sense to specifically call out the districts then, because since it
Well, if we're
seems like
gonna-
we're going back and
But
forth on this.
if we're going to change the districts in another 3 months or whatever, it doesn't make sense to call them out, so we have to change this one again.
I thought about that, but I guess I like being specific, so there's no questions. That's the only concern I have. That's the reason why I'm asking.
I'm comfortable with the way it is right
Okay.
now. If we want to amend it to reflect the district's name, and that's, with our zoning ordinance, there are residential districts which are specified then as, the RU3, RU 1.5, or, R5. And so those are residential districts as defined by the zoning. It's a separate category. So I'm comfortable with the way it is, especially as Jeff pointed out, that the districts are going to change in
Yeah.
name in a few months.
Yeah, no, I thought about that. I was saying it, but as long as we don't have any confusion later where it's, like agriculture, is it or is it not? That type of thing that we just talked about.
Well, I think to Andrew's point, most of the roads in those sorts of districts are not going to be compatible with truck parking anyway. Okay, I don't have any
All
other
right,
questions
well,
on this.
let's-
Anybody
let's
from
see.
the audience have some questions on this? Lovely. Seeing them, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt ordinance 2026-06, amending Chapter 15, Part 3, Section 302 of the Code of Ordinances, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
That passes. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Ryan, and your team there at HRG. appears we are moving on to resolutions. First up is Resolution 2026-36, docket 2434, Tier Point Substation 9999, Hamilton Boulevard, Minor Land Development Plan. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application proposes to develop a portion of an existing parking lot at the Tech Park campus into a 100 megavolt ampere electrical station to support the existing operations at the Tier Point Data Center. A building measuring 17 feet by 32 feet is proposed to house the equipment for this substation. And the construction of the substation will result in the removal of 250 parking spaces. Also, it's located within the township's RT district, which is Rural Technology Zoning District. A second to switch pages. So we did review the plan through the minor land development plan process, and subsequently it was exempt from the land development review for the planning commission. So we did it as a staff review with Meredith and her people. And tonight we are recommending that the township pass the resolution. If you'd like me to read it, I can do so.
The whole resolution?
Well, no,
I'd rather you not do that.
yeah, just the motion. Yeah, sorry.
I can do that. We got you covered.
Okay. And I believe the applicant is here with their design team. If they would like to come up to the microphone and answer any questions the board may have.
I guess
But all come at once.
before we do that, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-36, granting preliminary final minor land development plan approval to docket 2434 Tier Point Substation, conditioned upon the township engineer and zoning review letters dated July 22nd, 2026 and July 16th, 2026 respectively. Just to get us moving. Is there a second for that?
Okay, I got a second.
Thank you.
I can see
All right.
that.
Hi. How's it going?
Good, good. I'm Chris Geary. I'm the civil engineer on the project. This is Terry Algier. He's from Andre Hewitt. He is pretty much our quarterback. And this is Mike Cosgrove from Tier Point. So he's the end user or the property owner. Do you want us to tell you about what we are proposing out there? Or how do you want us to?
Yeah, why don't you just give us
Sounds like a good place to
yeah,
start.
yeah,
Bird's eye view of it. Okay,
something to
it's,
get started.
Familiar with the tech park, I imagine. It's a large 137 acre plus facility. They're looking to just supplement what they have, the existing tenants, with this new substation. They need more power. They've been working with PPL to bring it to the site, and now they're proposing this 100 megawatt substation. I don't know much about the electrical part. I only the civil, but it's pretty much about 2 acre area that they're looking at. The when the campus was built, it was different uses back then. So they found out in today's uses, they have a lot of extra parking. So I think it has like 1,800 parking spaces out there. And we did the parking tabulation. They only need about 350. So instead of tearing up new land, they're looking at taking part of the parking lot out and putting the substation in. So it's internal to the whole property. It's not on any public roads or anything like that. So basically, we're going to be taking out pavement and putting back some concrete for the foundations of the building, foundations of the substation pieces. I have no idea what the names are of them. So, but then we're going to be putting gravel down, clean stone, and some 2A modified just for vehicle maintenance around the area. There'll be some fencing around it just to keep it protected, along with concrete barriers just for vehicle protection against it. We're taking out some grass, a little bit of grass, mostly paving. Some curb we're taking out, and then the grading's going to basically stay the same. When we did borings out there, there's about 5 to 8 inches of paving, and we're looking at taking that out and putting 6 inches of stone back. So the grading is going to be about what it is out there now, and then it's just going to sheet flow down towards the building, and we're going to collect it in the system and basically take it to the same discharge point. So it's basically going to function the same.
Chris, you've got Ryan's July 22nd review letter number 3 on that.
I do not have that one. I have the July 1st one.
Okay,
that we
because there
responded
are
to.
some, at least it's carried through with the zoning letter from the same day of July 16th and then July 22nd. There are a couple of
Okay.
points. I think one of the ones that sort of hasn't been addressed right now is a lighting issue,
Okay.
at least a lighting plan issue. It's minor but major at the same time, just making sure, I want to make sure you're comfortable that the conditions that they've set, especially with that one, which seems to be sort of an untouched one or not fully addressed right now, you have no issue with complying with that, at least on the
Yeah,
plan perspective?
We'll be able to comply with it. There's lighting out there now, and you know, I'm assuming I'm guessing the comment is to look at the whole parking lot in more of an entirety. So
Basically, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, the existing lighting wasn't shown in the photometrics. And
yeah, I kind of know. Yeah,
Yeah.
some another consultant did that, so I'll work with them to get that up to whatever staff needs to see to make sure it meets the township ordinance.
And Ryan, am I correct that from an engineering perspective, that's really the only unaddressed issue? A lot of them are.
Yeah, we
sort
asked
of-
for extension of an under drain. That's not a big issue. Yeah, just the modeling of the lighting, but we're confident that they can handle that.
Okay. And I'm assuming Terry, or Chris, even though you haven't seen the letter, you're confident you can meet the letter that you have not seen?
I believe so. Yes.
And I think the zoning comments are sort of limited to that particular issue as an unaddressed issue, is that lighting plan thing that's in the zoning ordinance, but it refers to the Saldo piece. And
Gotcha.
you'll work with Ryan on that as you go
Yes,
forward.
yeah, we will.
All right. I don't have any other questions of you at this point. Sonny, you have any engineering
Just a
questions?
few questions. The substation that you're putting in now, are you for the anticipated current load, are you expecting to do anything else at Tier Point with the current use? And are you looking to expand it at any time, or are you looking at it?
Right now, we're looking to use existing buildings in the facility.
Okay,
We're looking at future plans, but nothing is set right now.
so right now there's no expansion where you might need more construction, either vertically or you know, that's a,
Today, no, but we may need, if we add power into one of the buildings, there may need to be some equipment added at that point. Not water equipment, but generators or anything like that, but we still have not finalized any designs.
okay. You know, the only reason I'm asking is that right now, the way it's done, it didn't go through, you know, a planning commission review, but if you were to come back,
Yes.
You realize you'd-
Site development,
you,
yes.
yeah, then you'd have to go through that whole process. The only other question I had for you is in the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission letter, they raised the question about lighting. They also raised the question about noise. You have some homes to the north of the facility on Haas Road that are very close to the substation. Are you confident that you can meet our current ordinance for noise?
Yes, the equipment that's going in there are basically power transformers and just switching devices. They have no real noise output at all. So, and if you've ever walked past a substation, it's pretty quiet. There's really no noise coming from the equipment. So it shouldn't have any adverse effect on anyone that's in that area on the north side of the property.
Okay, all right. Now I had to ask because I have heard through social media, there's sometimes maybe the older substations tended to make a noise and there was some concern. So I wanted to, and generally speaking, when we are talking about this type of use, I understand this is accessory equipment, but general use, you have, you know, quite concerns about power and noise and water consumption and all that. That's why I'm asking those questions.
Understandable.
Yeah. Again, as Terry said, we currently have a substation on site and you go down there, you cannot hear anything from the.
Yeah, no, I'm also on the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. I know I have some colleagues that have seen your facility. I hear you're doing a great job. Actually, would love to come tour it sometime if I'm welcome.
Sure.
But because I think you guys are doing some good stuff and I like to learn how you're doing it. But I only had to ask those questions to kind of make sure I sleep well at night, knowing that I did my job and I did my due diligence. So that's all I have.
Nothing else from me. Any questions or concerns from any members of the public tonight on the Tier Point substation issue? Pure round body of people in front of me make it difficult to see. Seeing none, I guess we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve Resolution 2026-36, granting preliminary final minor land development plan approval to docket 2434, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good night.
As well.
I'm serious about that. Yeah. Look, yeah.
definitely connect up and be more than happy to.
All right, I'll find out, some way to find out to get hold of you then. Thanks.
We are on to resolution 2026-37, docket 2343, 121 Nestle Way and 8361 Chance Road. Final lot consolidation and land development plan. Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The development includes the consolidation of 8 parcels bounded by Shantz Road, Nestle Way, and Olds Road, and the demolition of existing residential buildings on these parcels. The application proposes to construct an 82,167 square foot warehouse with associated parking, stormwater management, and other site improvements. Because this is a final plan, the Board of Supervisors approved the preliminary plan through Resolution 2026-08 on February 5th, 2026.
You want to make this one?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were going to do it. I apologize.
I can do it.
Go ahead and do
I'll
it.
make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-37, granting final lot consolidation and land development plan approval to docket 2343, 121 Nestle Way and 8361 Chance Road, conditioned on the staff and township engineer review letters dated July 30th and July 20th, 2026 respectively. Is there a second for that?
I will second that.
Thank you, sir. Anybody here for that one? Why don't you hop up and, oh God, not Gazoozian.
Bad news?
Steve, how are you tonight?
Well, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
My name is Steve Guzzi, and I'm the attorney for the applicant. We have a representative from the engineering team here also. As indicated by your staff, we had preliminary approval. We are willing to comply with all the letters and recommendations and requirements. So rather than, this case is kicked around, or this project is kicked around for some time. Your chairperson was chair of the zoning hearing board when we were in front of the zoning hearing board, so it's been around that long. So we're finally at the end.
Make me feel so
Hopefully.
old, Steve. That's not
You
a
and
way
me
to get
both.
approval
You
from
and me
today.
both.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, no, it's been so old that even my mind was kind of foggy. Typically, I think if it went through the zoning hearing board, we typically require snow removal equipment on warehouses. And I was wondering, did we do that on this one?
It was so long ago. I do remember issues with regard to snow removal. I remember issues with regard, and it was part of the decision, I believe, but part of where we could house them and how they could be housed. And there was concern about the top of the trucks being cleaned off. And I think
Yeah.
all that was addressed.
That was my concern, because that is
I'm
illegal.
embarrassed to say it was so long ago. I can't give you a more accurate.
You don't have to be embarrassed, because I was in the same boat. I was going to go, and I was hoping someone could tell me. Usually, sometimes it's in the plan, sometimes they're mobile and they're not on the plan. So,
I think we're going to defer. Ryan may have an
Yeah,
answer for us.
yeah, I have some answers for that, Sonny.
oh, perfect.
So it was one of the conditions of the zoning hearing board's decision when they went through the special exception process. Snow scrapers are required, and it's listed on the plans for condition number 5 under the special exception notes.
Okay. Yeah, it's been so long. I just had to double
Yeah.
check, because that seems like given the
Right.
size of the warehouse, and I don't recall the number of truck trips, but
It's,
Can be-
I have notes here,
Okay.
23 trucks per day. That was also a limitation of the
thank
The
you.
zoning
I
hearing
see. Well,
board's
thanks,
decision.
Brian. Very, very on the ball. Thank you. All right. No, that's primarily the question that I had. So thank you.
So just to repeat from the engineering side, I'll get it from him. You've got no problem with the review letter from Ryan on July 20th, 2026, or the zoning review letter or township staff letters with compliance? You feel pretty confident you're going to get all the drafting stuff done?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm tired of seeing this project, honestly.
Yeah, it's like so old. I have to reevaluate every time and go back and check. So
The only question I have is, I guess it's to Andrew at this point. We don't need to specifically reincorporate the zoning conditions back into the approval here. They're just sort of built in, and that's a zoning violation, not really a land development approval, right?
That'd be my opinion, yes. We
Okay.
don't need to, they're
okay.
two separate bodies, two separate decisions, so.
Okay. But just as an
And
abundance
I
of
think they're
caution.
also all noted on the plans as well.
Yeah, just out of abundance of caution, the applicant feels perfectly capable of meeting all those zoning requirements as well.
Yes, we have to. We realize that.
Nothing else from me on this, Sonny. Anything else from you?
Nope.
Questions from the public on this issue? Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2026-37, granting final lot consolidation and land development plan approval to docket 2343, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. Steve, it was good to see you again.
Thank you. Good seeing you. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. We're on to resolution C, docket 2026-38, docket 2396, the Nursery Street Commercial Development, 1431 Nursery Street Preliminary Land Development Plan. Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is proposing to develop a pad site within the Lehigh Hills development with the construction of a single commercial building that will house two uses, including a 2,400 square foot restaurant with pickup window and a 3,800 square foot medical dental office. The lot has frontage on PA Route 100 and Nursery Street with access from a private drive that intersects Nursery Street. The project includes site improvements such as the construction of a water line, sanitary sewer, associated access drives, and storm sewer.
Okay, you want me to take this one?
Please.
All right, since you did the last one. All right, motion to adopt resolution number 2026-38, granting preliminary land development plan approval to docket number 2396, Nursery Street Commercial Development, including the approval of waiver request number 1, conditioned on the staff and township engineering review letter dated July 30th and July 27th, 2026, respectively.
I'll second that. Thank you, Sonny.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I have to move the microphone for shorter people now.
We won't hold that against you.
Good evening, Stephanie Coble on behalf of the applicant. With me this evening is John McRoberts from the Pidcock Company. We're here before you tonight for preliminary plan approval. We have reviewed and do have in our possession all of the township review letters that were mentioned in the motion. We feel confident that we can adhere to all of the requirements in those township review letters as required by the motion. And we, of course, are able to answer any questions if you have any on this plan.
I feel like we litigated through this already before. I think waiver 1 was the sidewalks, right?
It's for the sidewalks on the frontage of Route 100. And if you look at their letter, you had already reviewed this when they had the townhouses that came through recently.
Yeah.
So they argued that they paid a Boundary Road upgrade fee, and that covered the sidewalks at that time, which was years ago.
That was my recollection. So that
Yeah.
was,
So it's
That
the
is
same waiver from
yeah,
a few
okay,
months ago.
that was my only question. And that's the only waiver you're requesting.
Correct.
All right, I don't have anything else.
What restaurant are we bringing in?
I have no idea.
My wife would be remiss if, I would be remiss with my wife if I didn't ask where the
I hope it's,
Trader Joe's is.
as
That's what I
someone
want.
who lives close by to there, I hope it's a good one.
Yeah, me too. I don't have any questions. I think the fact that
Can we make it conditional on a good restaurant? Are we allowed to do that?
we can try, we can try. I think considering that we went through a lot of this project and sort of the bigger piece of this project 4 months ago on the final land on the townhouse stuff, I feel pretty confident that we're going to be okay here. Anyone in the audience have any comment or questions about this Nursery Street development? Seeing none, I think we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2026-38, granting preliminary land development plan approval to docket 2396, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again. John, nice to see you again.
Thanks a lot.
Resolution D, 2026-39, docket 2336, Sunset Orchard, 6748 Rupsville Road, sewage planning module. Jasmine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This applicant is proposing to consolidate two existing lots and construct a residential development consisting of 197 townhouse units and 6 single-family semi-detached twin-style homes with associated site improvements. They were before the board and received preliminary land development plan approval through Resolution 2026-07 on February 5th, 2026. After working with the applicant on July 16th, we received favorable recommendation for the approval of the submittal of this planning module from HRG, and now it is before the board for action.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-39, approving the submission of a sewage planning module for docket 2336 Sunset Orchards.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Sonny, any questions?
No, pretty clear.
No, I'm pretty good on this. Anyone have any questions about the sewage planning module for Sunset Orchards? Doug, you sure? Okay.
This is like a hot one, right? Sewer planning modules are always exciting.
Seeing none,
Okay.
we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2026-39, approving the submission of a sewage planning module for docket 2336, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We're to resolution 26-40, appointing Darren Weber to the zoning hearing board. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Weber is here tonight, and he is being appointed to fill in a couple minutes, the vacancy that was created by Andy Snyder by his appointment to the Board of Supervisors. He'll be accepting his resignation shortly through motion. However, to appoint someone to the zoning hearing board, it needs to be done through resolution. And Mr. Weber expressed an interest last month when you interviewed him for the supervisor position. So he's willing to serve.
Awesome. And okay, I'll do
And
this
he
one.
will, just one thing, he will go on as an alternate. Adil who is the current alternate, will actually move into,
Okay. Do we have to make a motion to move him up?
that's done through the zoning hearing board.
Okay, they do that internally. Okay, got it. All right. So I will,
The alternate position is just as important because you never know when you're going to be required to sit in and make a decision.
Are you done?
Now I am.
sure. Are you sure? All right. All right. Motion to adopt resolution number 2026-40, appointing Darren Weber to the zoning hearing board.
I will second that motion. Darren, good to see you again. How are you?
Well,
Good. I don't have any comments, honey.
No, I mean, my only comment was, we were impressed by you when you came and spoke, and it sounded like you would be a great asset to the zoning hearing board. Honestly, when in accepting, appointing Andrew, I was concerned. We're losing a really good person in zoning hearing board. Actually, even residents came to me afterwards, reflecting on that comment that I made. And I said, well, I think we can backfill that position with somebody equally worthy, and I think we did. So congratulations, and we look forward to all good things coming from you.
thank you.
I'll congratulate you if we pass the resolution.
Okay.
Fair enough. You may not, I don't know.
Anyone from the public want to grill Mr. Weber while we have a chance to? No, we're all set. All those in favor of the motion to adopt resolution 2026-40, appointing Darren Weber to the zoning hearing board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. Welcome to the zoning hearing board. Welcome to municipal government. Enjoy the ride. We're moving to motions. Motion A, appointing Rachel Mahoney to the Upper Macungie Township Community Fund as the Lehigh Valley Health Network Jefferson Health Representative. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rachel has been recommended to move forward to replace Ann Baum as the Lehigh Valley Health Network Jefferson Partner Representative on the Community Fund. Rachel is a resident of Upper Macungie Township. She received a favorable recommendation, as I said, from the Community Fund. Per their bylaws, though, however, the Board of Supervisors have formal and final approval of appointing members.
I'll make a motion to appoint Rachel Mahoney to the Upper Macungie Township Community Fund Board of Directors as the Lehigh Valley Health Network Jefferson Health Founding Partner Representative.
Okay, I'll second.
Thank you. Is Rachel here? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for, I assume, volunteering to help us raise money for community projects. I assume you weren't told that this was your fate and you're
I
here
was not.
begrudgingly.
No, it was a volunteer. And I know Doug, so don't hold that against me when you try to pass this.
That is a down, that's a
You
down
probably
motion.
should have sat further away from me. I'm sorry.
Okay, I got you.
Well, it's a good board. It's a good project, and this building thanks that board. But there's plenty more to do still. So we're looking forward to having you on board if this passes and contributing to the growth of our township even more. So thank you for stepping up and volunteering. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Questions, Sonny?
No, I mean, can I make this conditional on getting one of those plush dolls or something
Sure.
that you crochet? I heard about all that. So
Yes,
maybe-
absolutely.
I'm a Leo, so maybe like a lion or something. That would be good.
Got them ready for you.
All right, awesome.
problem.
That's all. That's the only thing I have.
Andrew, can we get an ethical opinion on that?
I didn't hear that. Sonny said.
He wants a stuffed lion. God knows what's next, Sonny.
Yes, just I knew I have a very specific need.
All right. Anyone else from the audience want to ask Ms. Mahoney questions or grill her relationship with Doug Gernard and whether it's appropriate? Okay. Seeing none, we can move to vote. All those in favor of appointing Rachel Mahoney to the Upper Macungie Township Community Fund Board of Directors as the Lehigh Valley Health Network Jefferson Health Founding Partner Representative, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. Thank you again. Congratulations. Welcome aboard to, pseudo municipal government work. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion B, accepting the resignation of Andrew Snyder from the zoning hearing board. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, this follows up for Darren's appointment, but Andy Snyder has been appointed to the Board of Supervisors to fill in for the short term for Julian. Per the second-class Township Code, MPC, a Board of Supervisor cannot serve on the zoning hearing board, so Andy has to resign from that. He has submitted his letter. It's in your packet, so it's just ready for acceptance.
All right, so I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Andrew Snyder from the zoning hearing board.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns? Andy's not here to answer for himself. Otherwise, he would actually be sitting here. Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to accept the resignation of Andrew Snyder from the zoning hearing board, signify by saying aye. Aye, that passes. Thank you, Bob. Motion C, appointing Nick Parrish as an additional sewage enforcement officer. Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Nick Parrish of HRG recently obtained his SEO certification. The township does not appoint us as a firm as your sewage enforcement officer. It's individuals. So we are just asking that he be appointed to supplement our services.
Well, I'll make a motion to appoint Nick Parrish as an additional sewage enforcement officer.
All right, I'll second that.
Ryan, do we have others in your office that are doing it already?
Yes, a gentleman named Colby Snyder.
All right, so this will be 2. This will increase our capacity to evaluate things like sewage planning modules.
And on-lot septic systems, yes.
Awesome, awesome. Anyone have any questions about Nick Parrish? Sonny, I assume none.
No.
Anyone from the audience? Seeing none, we can move to a vote.
Sewer enforcement. I wanted to talk more about sewer enforcement, but it's okay.
Okay, well, we can do that later. All those in favor of the motion to appoint Nick Parrish as an additional SEO, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. Thank you, Ryan. D, awarding the township cleaning bid 2026-05.01. Jasmine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bid was placed for advertisement in the Parkland Press on May 20th and 27th editions of the Parkland Press and the May 20th and 23rd editions of the Morning Call. There were 6 bids that were received, ranging from a high bid of $825,300 to a low bid of $110,520. The low bid was received from Vanguard Cleaning Solution of Northeastern Pennsylvania, and staff is recommending that the bid be awarded, to Vanguard Cleaning in the amount of $110,520.
Wow. That's a widespread.
That is correct. I will mention that once we did receive these were the bids that were read publicly. I did make some calls afterwards because of the wide range that there was. There was some information that was given to the teams that were making the proposals. And there was misinformation given, so there was areas that were not going to be cleaned. Even with that, and they gave me an updated quote, even with that, Vanguard was still the low bid.
All right, I'm glad you did that because when you see that kind of a spread, there's usually something else going on. So
That's correct.
all
With
right.
those 6 also, we did have 3 bids that were not complete. With this being such a large project, we did require them to have mandatory site visits as part of the bid proposal. And there were several that did not complete that. So therefore, they were not considered to be complete.
Okay, so all of the employees, are they bonded employees or? do you
Correct.
require that? Okay,
They are actually they currently hold cleaning for the township now. So they will just update with their bonds.
okay, so we already have experience with Vanguard then?
That is
All
correct.
right, so
They have
that's
been with
also a
us for
plus.
about 3 years.
Okay, great. All right,
You gonna make a motion?
I'll make the motion. I should make the motion first before I ask those questions.
Probably,
shouldn't
but you
I?
were on a roll.
I
man.
was on a roll. I'm sorry. It's the procurement guy in me. I just went right to it. Motion to authorize the following expenditures for the annual cost of cleaning for the Upper McCountry Township Police, Public Works, Station 8 and Station 57, and the Community Lifestyle Center at a monthly cost of $9,210 to Quality Services LLC DBA as Vanguard Cleaning Systems of Northeastern Pennsylvania. It threw me off there with the quality systems. Okay, that's actually a pretty good price considering all what they're doing.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
I'll second that. Anyone from the audience have any questions about this? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the awarding of the township cleaning bid to Quality Services LLC, DBA Vanguard Cleaning Systems of Northeastern Pennsylvania, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Motion E, authorizing advertisement of a public hearing for docket 2384, 7660 Imperial Way. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, docket 2384 is the redevelopment of 7660 Imperial Way. The applicant is proposing two uses that would require a conditional use approval by the Board of Supervisors. And before that, that approval can occur, the board needs to conduct a public hearing. One use is to construct an auto service station with accessory convenience store upon an existing parking lot. And they also need a conditional use approval to reduce the number of off-street parking spaces required at this site. So with this, we're proposing to have that public hearing on September 3rd, at the time of which I guess would be up to the board. There's been some instances where the board has conducted the public hearing during the course of the regular meeting. There's other times where it occurs before the board's meeting. We're estimating it to take probably a half hour. This is going to be a similar process as the board went through with the proposed sheets across the way, and that was probably about a half hour or 40 minutes. So we're looking probably about that same time frame. So really, it'll be up to the board to set that time, and then we need to advertise that. So you're authorizing the advertisement of the hearing and the time in which that's can be conducted.
Okay, I'll start by making the motion, and I'll comment. I didn't do that last time. Motion to authorize the advertisement of public hearing for September 3rd, 2026 for docket number 2384, redevelopment of 7660 Imperial Way, conditional use application.
I'll second that. I have a concern, Andrew, about putting these conditional use hearings on the same day as meeting days. 'Cause the last time, I'm not sure it was the sheets, but there was one that we had a 2.5 hour conditional use hearing before we even got started on our agenda.
I believe it was the sheets.
Yeah, that took quite a bit of time. Have we evaluated whether there are some other days in September that we can use? I know we have planning and zoning and some other things.
So as you're aware, the
Or is-
NPC regulates and determines that the public hearing has to be conducted within a certain time frame. This applicant had a previous conditional use hearing scheduled,
Yeah, we pushed it when
and
Julian
they
resigned.
pushed
I
it
remember.
back. They asked for it to be continued. They've been granting continuances, and I believe they have a continuance through September 4th. So we're trying to work within that time frame.
Yeah, maybe we can have it earlier. And I was thinking the same thing. Remember, it wasn't 30 to 45 minutes. It ran long. It's probably my fault too, but you know.
There were a lot of neighbors there and
It was.
concerns too.
If you're willing to accept responsibility, I'll give it to you. Why don't we do this?
I'll take it anyway.
All right, well, thank you. Just because I know that the auto service station with the convenience store, it just ends up being, there's just a lot of pieces in that ordinance that we have to satisfy. So those are going to be long no matter. Why don't we tentatively schedule it for 5:30 on the September 3rd date? That way it gives us at least an hour and a half runway before we have a 7 o'clock meeting.
We'll have to move our executive session.
That's fine.
I'm okay with it, but I do think we need to give ourselves more time than
Yeah, I don't want to start
30
at
to
7.
45 minutes.
Yeah, so 5:30 for a meeting time on September 3rd. You don't anticipate any problem with that from a township side?
No.
Okay. Andrea, seems okay with you?
That's fine with me.
Anybody in
We'll
the
get that
audience have
advertised.
comment or concern about making next month's meeting extraordinarily long? All right, so why don't we modify it, or do we need to modify the motion? Are we just authorizing September 3rd is fine, and you'll just set it at 5:30?
The motion was for September 3rd, so that you don't need to modify it. You're just going to you're going to add on to that and
Okay. But then
condition
the
that motion
NBC
on
ad
to-
for that will be at 5:30 for that hearing and 7 o'clock for our general business meeting. All right, so all in favor of the motion to authorize the advertisement of public hearing for September 3rd, 2026 for docket 2384, the redevelopment of 7660 Imperial Way, the conditional use application, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Sonny. Motion F, authorizing the sale of a 2018 Ford F-350. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Looking at a motion to sell a 28 F-350 pickup truck to Upper Milford for $32,000.
So I'll make the motion to authorize. You want to give any more or is that it?
Have you met him?
It seems like, yeah, you're a man of many words, right? You want to,
Right to the point,
what color is it?
white, like all our other ones.
Okay, all right. Motion to authorize the sale of a 2018 Ford F-350 to Upper Milford Township at a price of $32,000.
I'll second that.
Is that a good price?
Yes.
A real good price? Good price for us or a good price for them?
For us, when we bought it back and then for $37,000.
Oh, that's not bad. Inflation though, but okay.
Scott, these sales, how are they? Do we have budget placeholders for the income back or it's sort of a windfall within the budget cycle?
I think it's in there.
This goes back.
You have an estimate for what we're going to get back in there?
Every year, we try to give a rough estimate of what we,
Is this meeting your rough estimate for what we'd get for this or is it?
I think it's a little
exceeding?
higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's always right around the same.
Fair enough.
Yes,
Your
you go
budget's in
close.
there.
Anybody have a question about this? 2018 Ford F-350, seeing none, we'll still go vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the sale of a 2018 Ford F-350 to Upper Milford Township at a price of $32,000, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
We're going to keep it with you for authorizing the sale of used township equipment.
Thank you. Last month, we put these up for bid. We actually had 4 of them, and one of them made our minimum bid of $5,000. So we tried again this month, and this time we got bids for all of them above $5,000 or $5,000. These are the mowers. The 22 mower 60-inch Exmark to Peter Christ for $5,025.
That guy again.
2021 72-inch mower to John Zagora for the price of $5,000, and a 22 72-inch Exmark mower to John Zagora for $5,000. I would recommend the sale of those machines.
Hear that, Pete? Even recommending it to you.
He's taking me to lunch.
I already got a check in hand. I'll make a motion to authorize the sale of the following used township equipment: a 2022 60-inch Exmark mower to Pete Christ in the amount of $5,025, a 2021 72-inch Exmark mower to John Zagura in the amount of $5,000, and a 2022 72-inch Exmark mower to John Zagura in the amount of $5,000. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or concerns? Anyone have any questions about the sale of used equipment to John Zagura and a certain Peter Christ? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion authorize the sale of the used township equipment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That passes. We are to board and staff reports. The monthly department reports are available at the back of the room, have been posted on the township website. Are there any department managers who have anything specific they'd like to announce? Ryan?
So we're progressing with several of your transportation projects, and the Green Light Go projects are going out to bid in the near future. We had previously received authorization from the board to move ahead with the Crocs and Citronia intersection improvement project. We have performed the field work for that, so we're in the process of initial base mapping for that. We'll work with township staff to decide what, transpires with that design project.
That's just in design. We haven't actually authorized the expenditure of any money, but for the design, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's 18 months off.
That's all.
Probably more, 2 years. That's it.
Thanks, Ryan. Michelle?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Pete?
I'd just like to thank all the staff, the Bureau of Fire staff, the volunteer firemen, and the police department in Citronia. We had a very successful junior academy this year. 21 students went through, and we got a lot of very good feedback and good comments from the students and the parents this year. So thank you to everyone for their help.
And I'll say again, Pete, on July 22nd, we broke ground on the new fire station, and we're all very excited for what Station 57 is going to be able to do with the new facility. Thank you for your leadership as we continue to walk through that fun consolidation merger process with our stations. I know it's an interesting one, and I appreciate the work that you and your team do.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, we talked about the intersection of Memorial and Blue Barn Road, I think for two prior meetings. We did an analysis of that area. What we found was there's definitely conflicts happening, probably about 70% of the time, meaning that intersection is being blocked or cars are being queued up at the light, blocking the intersection. Now the traffic is relatively light, really light on Memorial, between like 4 and 6 cars an hour between 4 and 7 o'clock in the afternoon, which were some of the times that we were asked to look at. The information was provided to staff and the engineering firm. I think additional measures are going to be looked at and determined what sort of improvements could be made there.
Yeah, we have HRG looking at the intersection for, I'll call it block painting. In other words, to see what PennDOT will allow us to do in the actual intersection to make it more visual, not to park here. But since that is a signalized intersection, that's part of the signal permit. So I've authorized HRG to reach out to PennDOT and see what that would take.
And we've already been working on that signal as part of the Green Light Go anyway. So we have the plans. We've already run it by PennDOT, Chris Sarobri at PennDOT, who runs our signals unit, and we'll be proceeding with showing it on the plans and getting it permitted.
But because of the proximity to a state road, we have some PennDOT issues we have to go through before we can.
It's the proximity to a signal, actually, not just the state road.
And the state road, a state signal on a state road.
Well, it's a township signal, but state road, right?
Okay.
So I'm just, what are we imagining, like painting a block around that whole?
They call it a box. Frankly, it looks like a big X. It's a big X.
Okay.
With a rectangle around it. We just got to figure out what limits PennDOT would want since there's multi-lanes in that intersection.
Has that, studies indicate that that's an effective measure?
That's an approved method federally and at the state level.
Approved is different than effective. So, I mean, does it actually work?
It's supposed to, but, depending on local commuters and such.
It's behavior.
And
that's what I'm getting at.
and
I mean,
enforcement,
let's be honest, we have signs that say no truck traffic on Citronia and we still have them. So I get it.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge expense.
All right. No, I'm just asking because the easy one would be to put back the stop sign, right? I know we took it off, but if it was working.
I don't think it was working.
Yeah.
I drive that intersection all the time. There's a lot of non-compliance with that stop sign. Vehicles would try to beat the light. If they saw that, if they sensed that the green light was expiring and heading to yellow, they would just pass right through that stop sign heading northbound.
That never happens. I've never seen that. Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Yeah. So there's an issue. Frankly, Memorial Drive is just too close to Tillman Street.
Yeah.
But there's really nothing we can do about that. So these are the measures we're going to propose.
Okay. Well, it seems like a reasonable first start, right? And then if it doesn't work, then we go back and look at it.
Something else.
Yeah. Okay.
In other notes, we had our groundbreaking on Tuesday, the 4th, which was a very special moment that, it's the first step. I guess the first step was being evicted by the fire department, but the first step for our process, which was really special. I've said I've broken many things over the years, but I've never broken ground. So it was a moment for me for sure. I again thank Bob for his leadership and vision. I thank the board. Always putting emergency services as a priority in the township. It's much appreciated. Following that, we had National Night Out, which was a huge success. We had great weather. We had great attendance. It's just a really great night for us to connect with the community. All the officers really enjoy it. I think the community enjoys it. Lots of smiles and laughs and good conversations. Grange Park was packed, and it was just a phenomenal night. The officers, Officer Julia and Nick Morris and Bill Rohrbach, Julia Popes, they did the bulk of the lift with planning. They do a phenomenal job every year. They hold that event very personal and close to themselves, and they're proud of their accomplishments with it. But it's truly a team effort with everybody in the police department and including Public Works and Fire Department and Parks and Rec. It really couldn't be done to the level of success that it was without a true team commitment within the township here. So it's all appreciated. Thank you to all your teams.
I was there. I had a blast. It was so much fun. And I have to tell you, I really left that place like I could really sense the feeling of community, because the community really came out. They were having a great time. You know, all of the booths where they were there, all reflected, you know, different organizations in the community. I think it was a great event. It was great work, and it seems like every year it just keeps on getting better. So thanks to everyone that got involved.
Thank you. There's for sure a definitely sense of pride while being there with just the way the community comes together. It's a great community. We all know it, and it's nice when everybody comes together and you're able to see it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bob?
I have nothing this month.
Yes.
I have a few things. We had an executive session that was held today at 5:30 p.m. and the topic discussed was legal matters. I also want to thank the Butts team for all of their help in preparing the 2 groundbreakings that we had. Awesome team, and it would not have been able to be done as professionally as it was if it wasn't for their team. So I do want to thank them. Information, we are constantly pushing information. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is out there. Facebook, it's on the website as well. We are doing the most we can to make sure we're getting that information out to everyone. Just on a little personal note, I just want to tell everyone, while you're out there driving, just be safe. There's a lot of accidents that are going on, losing a lot of family members, losing a lot of young people. If you're riding a bike, use a helmet. If you see somebody coming, and even though it's a green light, you see them coming, be cautious and stop. There's a lot of lives being lost. So just be mindful, please.
Jazz, I want to make an additional note that on July 21st, we also met an executive session at 5:30 that evening as well.
That is correct. My apologies.
Hey, you don't have to apologize. We're good. Meredith.
Sure. Just a zoning rewrite update. I'm expecting a full draft in the next 2 weeks, and I reached out to the consultant, Codometrics, to start scheduling a public workshop. And we are looking to have that sometime in mid-September. So I'm expecting us to coordinate that before the September BOS meeting and then have an announcement at the meeting.
Exciting.
It's so exciting.
I know you will all flock to the zoning meeting where we talk about the new ordinance. Andrew.
You've received a copy of my report, and other than that, I don't have anything to add unless there's questions of me.
Nothing from me.
Yeah, just one thing, I mean, maybe you can help just with to clarify, because I know I'm sure some people are wondering what happened to Andrew today. Now we have 2 Andrews. So Andrew was traveling today, so he wasn't able to make this, but he will be definitely sworn in for our next meeting. If you want anything, you want to add anything to that procedurally, just to make sure that people understand what's going on with his appointment.
Procedurally, he will need to be sworn. He's been appointed.
Yeah.
July 21st. So he's resigned from the zoning hearing board. I believe he's completed necessary paperwork for the Commonwealth. So the next step would be for him to be officially sworn in, which can be done by a magistrate or a notary. So he
can do
can be
that
sworn
himself through
in.
that, yeah.
He doesn't have to be sworn in at a public meeting. It can occur at any point in time between now and September 3rd, or however he chooses to do that. But I typically want someone sworn in, even if it's not done in a public meeting. You know, if his family would want to see a ceremony of sorts, you could certainly recognize him as a new supervisor at your September meeting.
Okay, and I just wanted to go through that because I know there will be people asking. I know people have already asked, so I wanted to just make
The
sure
important
we
part
address it.
is that you two
We did the appointment.
worked through 12 applicants and came to a decision on the 21st after hours, and you did that effectively, and he's been appointed. So all that's left to do is to, I guess, put his hand on a Bible. Jasmine, you've done that before, so I guess and he's been through it, so
Yep.
the swearing in is the only part that's left.
All right, I just wanted to put that out there and just make sure it was clarified. All right, thank you.
I'll clarify, it does not have to put his hand on a Bible.
I've never been through the process.
I don't think either of us did. so.
None of us.
No, I didn't think
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. Mr. Talkative himself, Scott.
Nothing nice.
Oh, stunning. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of quick notes. We've had some of our programming go on this summer. Mighty Kicks was very successful. Little Athletics fills as always, and we had about 200 people at our July concert. Grub and Groove at Grange is going steady each Thursday night here in the park. We have our first camp activity. While our summer camps did visit the community center a couple weeks ago, we have a Lego robotics and coding camp that starts on Monday and goes through Friday the 14th here in the community rooms. The following week, the 17th through 21st, we have a Chess Wizards chess camp that's going on here at the community center. On Saturday, August 22nd, we have one of our first big events. Congressman Ryan McKenzie's Working Family Fair is a full turf rental for a community resource fair, with Penn State Extension doing a make your own rain barrel class and actually this room we're sitting in. And then just, we're finishing up our soft open period with our limited hours as of tomorrow. We will be closed this weekend so staff can do some additional training. And then beginning on Monday, we go to full hours of operation here in the community center from Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. each day, and Saturdays and Sundays from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. That's all I got.
A lot of hours. Do we have a sense, Ryan, of how signups going for membership so far, and if it's meeting sort of your expectations to where we are even during the soft opening period?
Sure. If you give me 1 second, I can pull that up. So looking through the various categories, I will say consistently, while individuals are coming taking tours, many have stopped at the end of those tours and completed memberships. Across all of our categories, from active older adult, additional family member, single adult members, family passes, and even a couple of daily admission passes, our total report is roughly around 265.
And are we accepting Silver Sneakers or other similar insurance?
We're almost to the finish line. We've been telling everyone, check back with us in September to get that to the final
And
stage.
that's Silver Sneakers and like Healthy Pass or whatever the other one was.
Right now, it's just Silver Sneakers. We want to get that through. It's Silver Sneakers and I think Silver Sneakers Prime. Don't quote me on that. But Renew Active and Fitness My Way are other ones that we've been asked about that are different processes, but we will look into those.
So we're just waiting on them to process it?
I have to finish up some paperwork to get back to them.
Okay.
All right.
When do the EV charging stations go online?
As soon as I finish the activation paperwork this week. So we had a lot of, today we did some training on electrical, HVACs tomorrow, scoreboard training and things were happening this week. So I don't think I sat down at my desk for more than 5 minutes at a time today. So.
We appreciate the work that goes. Appreciate the amount of work that goes into getting a center like this up and operating. Staff that I've interacted with have been more than friendly and welcoming, and I appreciate all that you're doing to get it moving forward. And I'm excited to see what happens on Monday when it opens full.
They're all making sure that I have the door timed correctly to open so they can get in. So.
All right, we appreciate it. Sonny, anything from you?
No, nothing.
And I got nothing either. Public comment. Courtesy of the floor. Anyone have anything they want to add? Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Lucille Prattle. First of all, I want to say, if you want to save some money, you should probably turn the air conditioning down a little bit. It's pretty cold in here. Just a joke. But anyway, I want to appreciate you all for working with me with the stop sign and looking at it and everything like that, okay? And I also want to know, I didn't get this letter, I forgot to bring it with me. My neighbor brought it to me from Lighthouse. It's a letter for the sewer, and you need a certified ASSE plumber. Does anybody know what that is? He's asking me, and I don't know what it is because I have a certified plumber, and he don't even know what that is.
So you got a letter from
I did. My neighbor did.
Lighthouse next door to you.
Yes,
got a
got
letter.
it from Upper Macungie Township that their sewer has to be inspected or some.
There's sewer lateral inspection.
I on the back of the paper, it says different sewer, like from what someone told me, it's like a backup. Like if something happens with the sewer system, the backup doesn't, if you're backed up or something, it doesn't go out into other people's or something like that. But I didn't know if anybody knew what an ASSE plumber was.
I don't know
He's
the
asking me.
exact terms, but most of the plumbers because you have to do a video, so you need to be certified in taking the video.
Okay. I didn't know if you had your own plumbers that we're supposed to be using. I didn't get one yet.
Be registered with the township. There's a list. If you give me your information, we can call you tomorrow with that.
Okay. Okay, yes. And another thing I want to say is you guys thank everybody for everything they do, and I appreciate everything that all of you do also, especially you people that put your lives on the line and you people that take care of the township. Thank you very much.
Lucille, as I said before, we appreciate you coming out, and you're more than welcome, especially when you're thanking us, you're more than welcome to come out.
Well,
as
you know
much
what?
as you
I
want.
figure I should just come
She
out
didn't yell
instead of
this
just
time.
for a stop sign. You're working on it. You'll do what you can, but it's nice to know what's going on.
Well, make sure you share with your friends and neighbors that when you have an issue, if you show up, staff like Mike, chief of our police, is going to answer your question directly. We're not going to duck and dodge, and we're not going to tell you to sit down. We're going to invite you to keep coming back, because that's what our job is. And as an engaged resident like yourself, that's what your job is. So we, as much as you appreciate us, we appreciate you too. So
Well,
thanks for
thank you
coming out.
very much. I appreciate you all.
You know, with all those
Thank you.
channels, there's never really anything good on TV, so just come every month. We love to
Okay,
see you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, I
you know.
appreciate that.
I am.
Yeah,
But if
come
you
on
come
over.
every month, you have to say nice things to us at the end of the meeting every month.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right,
I'll
sounds good.
try.
Any other public comment courtesy of the floor? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I guess that has to be me, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second all those
All
in
right.
favor. Aye. We are adjourned at 8:22.